The story of the poisoned arrow. One day, while Gautama Buddha was teaching in a small village, a man approached him, filled with questions. He asked the Buddha, "What is the purpose of life? Is there an afterlife? Why do people suffer? Is there a God? What happens after death?" His mind was full of confusion, and he was desperate for answers. The Buddha, known for his deep wisdom, calmly listened. Instead of answering directly, he chose to tell the man a parable. The parable of the poisoned arrow. There was once a young man who was struck by a poisoned arrow. The poison began to spread through his body, causing him immense pain. His family rushed to call a doctor to save his life, but as the doctor arrived and prepared to remove the arrow, the young man stopped him. Before the doctor could act, the man said, "Wait. I refuse to let you remove this arrow until I know who shot it. I want to know what kind of person it was. Was he tall or short? Did he come from a noble family or a poor one? What kind of bow did he use? What type of poison is on the arrow? Tell me everything first." The doctor, bewildered, replied, "But if I don't remove this arrow immediately, you will die." The young man stubbornly persisted, "No. I will not allow you to remove it until I know the answers to all my questions." The Buddha paused and then looked at the man who had asked the series of questions. He said gently, "Just like the young man, you are asking many questions that have no immediate relevance to your suffering. If you focus on trying to answer every philosophical question, you will remain in confusion, and your suffering will continue. First, address the root cause of your pain, the arrow in your heart, by following the path to enlightenment. Then, all your questions will naturally be answered." The man was struck by the wisdom of the story. He realized that instead of endlessly questioning life's mysteries, he needed to focus on practical steps to overcome his suffering. Moral of the story. The story teaches us that while philosophical and existential questions can be important, obsessing over them without addressing our immediate issues only prolongs our suffering. We should first focus on finding peace and clarity in the present before seeking answers to life's deeper mysteries. The path to enlightenment begins by removing the poisoned arrows of anger, attachment, and ignorance from our lives. This tale of the poisoned arrow is often used to highlight the importance of mindfulness, action, and focus on the present moment. It resonates deeply with people who feel overwhelmed by the complexities of life and reminds them to take a step back and deal with what truly matters first. Buddha and the Young Boy, a Tale of Wisdom. Once upon a time, a young boy, disillusioned and confused about life, came to meet the Buddha. He had faced many struggles and was constantly tormented by questions that seemed to have no answers. Seeking peace, the boy asked, "Why does life leave me feeling so confused? Why am I unable to find happiness, even though I try so hard?" The Buddha looked at the boy with compassion and invited him to sit by his side under a large Bodhi tree. The air was calm, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. Sensing the boy's turmoil, the Buddha decided to tell him a story. There was once a traveler who was lost in a dense forest. The deeper he went, the more confused he became. Every direction seemed like a dead end, and the shadows of the trees grew long, making the path even more uncertain. Panicking, the traveler wandered in circles, becoming more frustrated with each step. In his frustration, he tripped over a large rock and fell to the ground. Tired and defeated, he lay there, gazing up at the sky. At that moment, an old monk appeared on the path. The monk calmly approached the traveler and sat next to him without saying a word. The traveler, still angry, said, "I have been walking in this forest for hours, but I only feel more lost. What should I do? I am tired, and I don't know which way to go." The monk smiled gently and said, "Stand up, take a deep breath, and look around you. The path will not reveal itself to you in your state of confusion. Calm your mind first, and the way forward will become clear. The traveler, skeptical but desperate, followed the monk's advice. He stood up, took a deep breath, and stopped trying to force his way through the forest. Slowly, he realized that his panic had clouded his judgment. He began to notice subtle signs that led him out of the forest. The more peaceful he became, the clearer the path grew. After telling the story, the Buddha turned to the boy and said, "Life, like the forest, can be confusing and overwhelming. The more you struggle to find answers in a state of distress, the harder it becomes to see the way forward. But if you calm your mind, breathe, and observe life with patience, the answers you seek will reveal themselves, just like the path did for the traveler." The boy thought deeply about the Buddha's words. He realized that his constant anxiety and need for control had blinded him to the beauty and simplicity of life. From that day on, he practiced mindfulness, learning to observe his thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. Gradually, the boy found peace within himself, and the confusion that once clouded his life began to lift. Moral of the story: when life leaves you confused, the answers often lie in stillness. Instead of fighting against the current, calm your mind, observe the present moment, and the path forward will become clear.